What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Micah.
Hello.
And Carrie.
What's up?
Carrie, you haven't been here in a little bit.
I haven't.
You're also the only person who's been playing anything new over the past week on the panel. But you've been walking ends.
I have walked to the end in Final Fantasy 14. I finished the Endwalker expansion. I actually did that a couple weeks ago, but I have a question
for you before you start talking about this. So, did you how much of your playtime would you estimate was done waiting in queues versus?
There was so much waiting in queues, especially on my data center. I play on Primal, and I play on Leviathan, which is one of the busiest worlds on Primal. So yeah, it was a fucking mess. It's much better now, but yeah, literally I would have to jump in queue and then go do something else for 2 hours maybe and hope that I don't get disconnected from the queue. Or what I would have to do, since I'm still working from home full time, is I would have to jump in the mornings and try not to AFK out so that I could then play a little bit at lunchtime and then start playing for real after work.
I was about to make a joke that I could just see you while you're working, just having another mouse that you just move every couple seconds, or just move your character to and fro.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. A lot of that going on. A lot of idling, a lot of spending time in queue. But I mean, again, they seem to have done everything that they can to address those issues, and I haven't seen a queue really over 1,000 in the last week at this point. So it seems like things are finally starting to temper out a bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as far as Endwalker is concerned, I think the last time I was on, I talked about it, and I was sort of about the story, about the main scenario quest line, and now I'm no, Endwalker was really good. Endwalker is absolutely the payoff for the entire story, for everything that they built up over the course of Realm Reborn, Heavensward, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. Yeah, they did an incredible job. The only gripe that I have about the storyline is the fact that the first 10 to 15 hours of gameplay in the storyline had to be dedicated to tying up a lot of loose ends. So there was a lot of cool, we gotta go deal with all this bullshit we started in Garlemald and that war, and there's a civil war happening there that we've touched on but haven't really talked about that much in a while. So I guess we got to go wrap that up before we get to the meat of the Endwalker storyline. But when things pop off in Endwalker, they stay popped off for the rest of the time. So yeah, it was really good. Got some good lot of big Final Fantasy IV references happening. I mean, you do go to the moon, which is very much a Final Fantasy IV thing. It's so on the nose FF4 stuff that literally when you're on the moon, there are certain areas that just play the classic FF4 battle theme when you're fighting, which is kind of cool. So I don't know, FF14 is very much a game that if you have played and enjoyed any other Final Fantasy game, you will find cute little Easter eggs and throwbacks to enjoy sprinkled throughout. The end of the story feels very much like an old school Final Fantasy in terms of something big happening at the 11th hour, which finally explains everything that's been going on, and the thing that you thought was the final boss is not going to be the final boss. It's this other thing instead.
Oh, it's Micah's biggest pet peeve of the Final Fantasy series.
Yeah, they did that again.
Boss reveal.
Yeah, they did that again.
or in this case, the 150th hour boss reveal.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's I don't know. It was really good. I'm enjoying the endgame content. The raid series that they are slowly rolling out now has been a lot of fun. I've been working on getting some of my other classes leveled up to 90 and maxing out gear and stuff like that. So yeah, FF14, real good. I've enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm glad that I am at the point where I can basically like do the raids once a week and get my rewards from that, and otherwise just do my dailies because, as we will touch on in a minute, there's another big game coming out that I'm going to sink a lot of time into.
So
um,
to be clear, like we can before you talk about Magfest, like I'll just throw new releases in here because
sure,
it'll take me all two
because there's
seconds.
three of them,
There's literally three, and they're
and
all
they're all
ports,
ports.
as you mentioned. Astroneer comes to Switch, God of War comes to PC, Monster Hunter Rise, the game you were alluding to, comes to PC. Now,
Yes.
to be clear, I have looked, and you have put in over 120 hours of Monster Hunter Rise on the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
I can see your stats.
Yeah.
They're not hidden from me.
No, they're
Uh,
not. No,
um,
anyone can see that I've put in a lot of time. I'm going
but
to put in that
you
much and more.
are willing to start anew
Yeah,
in Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch.
correct.
Wow.
And I say that because it means that I can now play with all of my friends.
Hmm.
Because everyone who I was playing with on Switch basically only got it on Switch because they had a Switch and weren't going to wait a year for the PC version to come out. It was like, okay, well, I have this console and I want to play the new Monster Hunter, so I guess I'll play it on the console that it's available on. So virtually everyone who I know who's been playing it on Switch will be making the jump to the PC version and starting over. So now I get to play with like everyone, including all of my friends who don't own Switches and have been waiting for the PC version. Plus, it looks great in 4K. Um, like it's going to look 100 times better on my PC than it does on my Switch. That's just fact. So yeah, plenty of time to get back to where I was on Switch before Sunbreak comes out
Mm-hmm.
this summer sometime. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And as you mentioned, I was at MagFest this past weekend. The Music and Gaming Festival returned to National Harbor this past weekend. And my band, Quicksave, had been extended the invite to play at the Belvedere Lobby Bar. So we made our MagFest debut there, and that was incredible. Our previous gig was literally in like, literally in a Baltimore alleyway next to a dumpster. Like, we went from like Rat Alley in Baltimore to the Gaylord National Resort. It was just a hell of an upgrade. But yeah, we had a ton of fun. Magfest. Magfest really did the best that they could given like the world right now. A lot of people, I saw a lot of folks on Twitter being like, well, why don't they just cancel the convention? Maryland's in a state of emergency. They should just cancel the show. And it's like, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what kind of state of emergency Maryland is in right now, which is basically just like the governor declared the state of emergency to allow money to move around faster. Like, not every state of emergency would have activated some sort of escape clause for a large event like that to be
Mm-hmm.
able to postpone without penalty, basically. But they did the best they possibly could to keep everyone safe. It was, you had to be fully masked. Everyone who was in attendance or on staff or a guest had to be fully vaccinated. There wasn't any sort of like, oh, you can show a negative test. They weren't even allowing that. Like, you had to be vaccinated or you were not allowed into the show. Um, I've been in full lockdown ever since. I will not be leaving my house until probably this coming weekend at the very earliest. And yeah, we're staying safe, but I'll be posting videos from our set on our YouTube, which I'll try to link in the Discord. So if you want to check the Discord, that would be cool. I wish I could say, oh, go to youtube.com/quicksave because we don't have 100 subscribers yet. So YouTube won't let us do that. So please find our links in the Dense Pixels Discord
yeah,
and subscribe.
Yeah,
so that I can get the vanity URL.
I've done that 3 different times now, and that first push to 100 is never fun. Like, it's always such hard work just to get the fucking custom URL. So, but once you're there, it's a lot easier, because then it's a lot easier to share it out. So yeah. So long time listeners will remember our first push to 100, way back when, many
back in the day,
many minutes ago. And again, you mentioned the Discord.
I'll just segue right into that. You can check out our Dense Pixels Discord. It is live and has been around for many months now, and
almost a year actually.
Almost a year, really, already.
Like it, yeah.
I'd have to check the stats on that, but yeah, you can go to densepixels.com/fans and you can check out the Dense Pixels Discord. I'll post stuff from my band in there, but you can also hang out. You can talk about F1 racing. You can talk about wrestling. You can talk about video games and all sorts of stuff. It's a really fun little community in there, and you should come check it out. And while you're on the internet, I mentioned YouTube. So go to youtube.com/densepixels because Dense Pixels has the vanity URL, and I can just say that, and you can see our lovely, beautiful faces. You can see my washed out white ass face on the YouTube, and then you can see Micah and Brad and our delightful little professional looking setup as well. But yeah, and while you are, again, on the internet, you can subscribe to the rest of the TNP Studios podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. So you can subscribe to the Nerdpocalypse, you can subscribe to Black on Black Cinema, Coming Distractions, as well as the weekly preview episode of Look Forward. But for just $5 a month or $50 for the full year, if you go to densepixels.com/premium, you get all the goddamn podcasts. You get everything. You get the airing of grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, Upstage Conversation, as well as the creme de la creme of our premium content, the full episodes of the Look Forward Political Podcast. So check that shit out.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll get right into the fun and exciting news that we have for all of you.
We are once again talking about NFTs.
Yeah, this week and no fucking thanks. If you would imagine... So like I'm
so sick of this shit.
So like
I wasn't even here last week.
No, you weren't, and because it can't stop and it won't stop. So we mentioned last week, when we talked about NFTs, that the first person that comes to mind in the video game industry that would be first in line to run to a grift to make some money was Peter Molyneux, and sure enough, Peter Molyneux's making hand over fist money selling gaming NFTs. So if you apply that same logic to a video game publisher, obviously most people are going to think like EA first, and that's fine. But that's not who I thought of first when I thought of NFTs. I said, what company out there is willing to just completely whore themselves out to make a quick dollar and prostitute their beloved franchises at the altar of commercialism to make a quick buck? And if you guessed Konami, my friends, you are 100% correct, because who could have imagined back in 1986 or 1987 actually, when Castlevania first hit the NES, that we'd be celebrating the 35th anniversary of Castlevania by selling NFTs, because Konami is selling the quote Konami Memorial NFT Collection, where players can pick up 14 different unique artworks from the Castlevania series straight from Konami. If you want to, of course, you have to use cryptocurrency. We can't avoid the blockchain. We're talking about NFTs, baby. That's the only way you're going to know that you own it. So you can use these classic stills from Castlevania games from the NES and other series that are beloved. I have to say, my favorite, because the internet, of course, had a field day with this, as the internet's wont to do. My favorite tweet that I saw is from Archangel ZXV on Twitter, who screenshotted the opening scene from Symphony of the Night with Dracula saying, "What is an NFT? A miserable little pile of money laundering," which is just the perfect way to sum that up.
Yeah, you're right, man. Like, Wow. Wow. Like when you put it like, man, this is the 35th anniversary of Castlevania. One, I'm old, right? Two, um, where did what did you think you'd be talking about when the 35th anniversary of Castlevania rolled around? Certainly not. Certainly not. You know, digital stamp collecting. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ.
I wish it was like even as innocuous as digital stamp collecting, because it's not.
So, and here's the thing that's annoying. So, like, I'm on the auction page right now because I'm curious to see what this bullshit's going for. And because they're using this, like, nebulous currency, this OpenSea fucking Bitcoin currency that they have, I have no idea what this stuff is actually worth because I don't know what this shit's worth right now. So, like, you can get a, let's see, the Dagger versus Frankenstein and Igor NFT. The best offer on that NFT is currently 0.027 space bucks right now. Like, that's the current auction price for that one. Do you want the Dracula's Castle pixel art NFT? Do you want to own the map of Dracula's Castle from the original Castlevania? Well, right now the bidding is at a steal of a deal, 0.16 didgeridoos right now. Like that you have to bid on that motherfucker. There's a screenshot of Castlevania that has the Castlevania logo and just the words "Vampire Killer" in Gothic script superimposed on top of it. How much is it? Oh, I think this is actually like a snippet of the soundtrack. Actually, might even be a GIF or a GIF, depending on how you pronounce it. I've heard it both ways. Right now, that's
GIF.
sitting at
It's GIF. I don't trust. Don't even give. It's GIF.
It's GIF. GIF is a peanut butter. That's beside the point. That's currently sitting at 0.136 shit dollars. Schrute-bucks. It's worth Schrute-bucks right now.
Bison dollars.
So if you click on these things, like they tell you what the cash value is next to the
$440. What the fuck is wrong with people?
The map of Castlevania, which is going for 0.16 simoleons, is $518.15. Which is fucking ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man.
It's so stupid. Oh my god. And meanwhile, Konami's just like
the only reason why this is happening is because these are unregulated securities right now. Once regulations kicked in and people have to actually pay, I don't know, taxes on this shit, all of this is going to go away. I can't even. I've talked a lot about NFTs on here and why I don't like them. But another recent example, one of my friends who's a cosplayer was recently alerted to the fact that someone took photos of her in her cosplay and minted them as NFTs and sold them on the OpenSea NFT auction site without so much as asking her or like notifying her that this was happening. So literally someone's basically stole her likeness and minted it and sold it on this fucking bullshit NFT site for simoleons.
And she has no recourse for that at all?
She's working on it. But these NFT auction sites are notoriously terrible at actually doing anything about the incredible amount of stolen artwork, photos, and likenesses that are being sold and having money made off of them. So yeah, it's all bullshit. The companies that are getting into it are simply doing it because they think it's the new hotness. And again, it is simply unregulated securities right now. And once taxes really start hitting all this crypto bullshit, things are going to change in a hot second.
So in some encouraging news, I don't even know if we covered this last year because back when in April, like NFTs really weren't in the forefront of the public consciousness back then. They didn't really take off until the fall. But Sega talked about last April that they were going to start selling digital NFT stuff that utilized blockchain, and they're now pumping the brakes. So a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit, because they are. Basically, Haruki Satomi, who's the CEO of Sega right now, his quote was, they would like to try out various NFT experiments, but nothing is decided at this point, and we'll have to carefully assess what will be accepted and what will not be accepted by the users. I would love them to just dismiss this bullshit out of hand, but I suppose that's better than jumping in head first without any consideration for what the fuck you're doing at this point.
Yeah, man. Before we pat these people in the back, like they're not doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it because
they're doing it because they got blowback.
Right. They're doing it because people were like, no, and this, and they got other properties out there that they need to They need to be in the public's good graces, at least until Sonic 2 comes out. So everybody go watch that, and then they'll start selling NFTs again. Yeah, man. I don't trust any of these goddamn companies, man. And the auction site is called OpenSea.
Yeah, I know. If that just doesn't fucking hit the nail, that just doesn't hit the nail on the head. All I can think of when I think of that is I think of the scene from The Simpsons where they had like the party in international waters, and it's just like the two monkeys like knife fighting against each other with the crowd of people around it. That's what immediately just pops in my mind when I think of that shit. So, in other grotesque financial news, so when you're a company and you want to be a major player in a certain avenue or a certain sphere of an industry, there's two things you can do. You can start at the grassroots and work on building blocks and work on growing and throwing, R&D and things of that nature and that kind of stuff and taking a long time to do it as good as you can. Or you can do a solution that I like to call the Micah method, which is just to take a shitload of money and throw it at it, and just buy someone who already did option one. That's what our good friends over at Take-Two are doing. They're taking all your NBA 2K money and all your Grand Theft Auto shark dollars, and throwing them at famed mobile company Zynga. Take-Two has purchased.
Aren't they local?
They were at one point in time. I don't know if they still are, but they at least were based in Hunt Valley. Maryland.
They're headquartered out of San Francisco now.
There you go. So they once they got that Farmville money, they probably relocated to sunny.
You know what's actually really fucking funny? So I was like, what the fuck? Like Zynga's still around, and I'm literally currently right now drinking a water out of a fucking Zynga game cup. That I think I got out of 7-Eleven fucking 10 years ago. Whatever the fuck Yoville was. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that game is or was.
They're still around, and obviously like not in our space because they're the type of games that Zynga makes and publishes are not, I hate using the word fucking core gamers, but you know what I mean.
They are casual, laid back kind of games. Words with friends. They're social games.
Farmville. So apparently they're doing well. Because Zynga thought that our Take-Two's like, you know what? We'd like to own you so that we can make money off of your success. Because see, Activision's got King over here and they're making a fuck ton of money from Candy Crush. So we need to make money from you guys. To the tune of $12.7 billion with a B.
That's a lot.
So, congratulations to the folks at Zynga, and the people that own, everyone that works there for all the nice payments that are coming their way.
$12.7 billion. They might be able to have a decent living in San Francisco.
Maybe if they're lucky. That might just cover might cover like a year's rent at their Oh my god. So yeah, Carrie alluded to it. Here is what's in their portfolio right now: Farmville, Words with Friends, CSR Racing, Empires and Puzzles, Golf Rival, Harry Potter Puzzles and Spells, Merge Dragon, Zynga Poker are just some of the examples. That's a lot of the stuff that's making a shitload of money. Apparently, Zynga also developed the natural motion animation technology, which was used in Rockstar games like Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption. So now Take-Two owns all of that stuff as well. And I think that one of the things that Take-Two is looking to do here is to be able to put out good mobile games that leverage their franchises like GTA and things of that nature as well.
Yeah,
So,
shark dollars are going to be coming to mobile very, very soon.
yeah.
I mean, good for them, for good for Zynga for getting a big payday. You know, congratulations to Take Two, I guess, for being able to get ready to make a lot more money. Um, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a shitload of money. I mean, again, the numbers just keep going up. I'm trying to think of what property in video games would be more lucrative than this, because like when we saw that Microsoft paid $8 billion for ZeniMax and Bethesda, that was crazy, and like this is 50% higher than that. I'm just trying to think like
This company paid more for Zynga than Disney did for Marvel and Star Wars combined.
by a factor of by a factor of multiple. By the way. Like wasn't that deal $6 billion between the two of
It
them?
was like 8 billion between the two of them.
Yeah.
I think they paid 4 and 4 for each.
Oh, okay. If anyone was curious what actually drives money in the entertainment industry nowadays, it ain't movies anymore. As if you needed any more proof of that.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah. Games Done Quick going on this weekend. GDQ.
Yeah. It started on Sunday. Games Done Quick. It's Awesome Games Done Quick, or AGDQ. It started on Sunday. They are currently smack dab in the middle of a speedrun of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is estimated to end. The time estimate on it is 1 hour 35 minutes. They are currently 40 minutes into the run. So far, they have raised $622,588 for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. If you like speedruns,
or 0.13 OpenSea dollars.
yeah,
to this point.
yeah, it's super cool. I love watching GDQ. I typically just have it on like my second screen while I'm working during the day. Yeah, there's still a lot of cool stuff. I think the Sonic block is tomorrow morning. There's like a Castlevania block later in the week.
Thank you for telling me what period of time to avoid.
Dude, some of these speedruns are nuts. Yeah, super cool. I mean, they just did the original Ratchet and Clank in like 23 minutes or something like that. I don't know. I like watching speedruns because like I would never learn how to play a game like this, but I'll watch someone else do it.
Like I said, so. I remain fascinated by speedrunners, especially speedrunners of modern games. Like old school games, it's impressive, but it's all pattern recognition. With modern games, like you have to literally find glitches in the code to allow you to skip around. Like I watched a Doom Eternal speedrun, and like they beat Doom Eternal in like an hour, which is impossible in theory, but not when you can jump through the stage and move to different parts of the world in ways that the developers didn't intend. Like who figures that shit out? Like how do they do that?
How do you feel about that? Like,
it's in the game.
I think it's cool. Is it the way the game is meant to be played? No, but if someone can do it and gets enjoyment out of it, neat. If someone does it, gets enjoyment out of it, is good at it, and it raises like $2 million for charity along the way, even better.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking the the raising the charity or anything, but like
Well,
it's
but,
like,
but,
hey,
but
how
they do
quickly
it.
can you get through this maze? Well, I can get through it real quick if I could just bust through all the walls to get to the end.
But they
Yep.
do it different. Like they have total like any percentage runs. That's where you can just go fucking glitch crazy. They have no glitch runs that they have to do. They have like the 100% runs, like that kind of stuff. Like it's one thing to, like the Mario 64 one that people can do in like 7 minutes because they can glitch up the endless stairs.
Or like
in,
even Ocarina
yeah.
stuff where it's just like, you like fucking smash some buttons and like get your stick out and backflip in the right spot and you're at the credits and that counts as clearing the game.
But when you
like,
but to me, like the really impressive ones are the ones where, like the Mario 64 like all stars and you do it in like an hour 40. Like what? Like how the fuck are you able to get 120 stars in an hour and 40 minutes? Like the knowledge, the precision, like everything that goes into that, like the execution.
It takes a really high level of skill in order to speedrun well, and I think that's part of the reason why I really like watching them is because it's like I would never play a game like this, but I can appreciate the skill level and the technical proficiency that's required to go into something like this.
So I'm very much in the same boat as far as that goes. So I'll check some of this stuff out this weekend. I'd probably like Carrie, I'll have it on as a second screen while I'm doing something else. So to kind of peek in on it. So the last news story, now a little peek behind the curtain for you guys. So like, I like to, come up with irreverent show titles and things of that nature. And I usually don't plan it out in advance because it's based on something funny that somebody says during the episode that we, make a note of that kind of like basically if it pops the panel, like I'm like, all right, that's pretty good. But there are a few times where inspiration just comes down like a lightning bolt on top, from a specific news story. And so the title that I have for this news story this week is Defund the Police.
Thank you, Brad.
God damn it.
Because it was revealed that in 2017, 2 LAPD police officers were fired because they were trying to catch a Snorlax in Pokemon Go instead of responding to a robbery in progress that was going on near them.
Yep. Two Los Angeles police officers were fired for willfully abdicating their duty to assist a commanding officer's response to a robbery in progress and playing a Pokemon mobile game while on duty. The incident occurred in a mall in April 2017. A patrol supervisor asked these two, Luis Lozano and Eric Mitchell, to respond to an apparent robbery, but they ignored the call and instead ventured off to catch a Snorlax. A digital in-car video system recorded the officers' conversations as they spotted the Snorlax and discussed their strategy to catch it. The court documents read, for approximately the next 20 minutes, the digital in-car video system captured them discussing Pokemon as they drove to different locations where the virtual creatures apparently appeared on their mobile phones. On their way to the Snorlax location, Officer Mitchell alerted Officer Alonso that, quote, a Togetic just popped up. The officers caught the Snorlax and then proceeded to catch the Togetic. Quote, holy crap, man, this thing is fighting the crap out of me. Holy crap. The guys are going to be so jealous. Here's the best part. Following the incident, Mitchell and Lozano lied about what happened, claiming they were catching, quote, images of Pokemon and that the game was more of a, quote, social media event that was not advertised as a game, which is a fucking lie. It's Pokemon. When has it not been advertised as a game?
Oh my God.
In earlier court filings, the Board of Rights stated that playing Pokemon Go showed complete disregard for the community, wasted resources, violated public trust, and was unprofessional and embarrassing for the department. As the officers lied, their behavior reflected gross negligence, cowardice, lack of thoughtfulness, and deceit. They lost their appeal last week, and the decision stands, and they've been fired. Now, if only police officers could get... Yeah, they appealed it. Of course they appealed it. Do you think a fucking cop would have ever accepted that he had done something wrong?
No, yo, you gotta eat that, yo. You gotta eat that. That shit is so... that shit is so ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
it's so like
Oh my
Keystone
God.
Copish that you just gotta eat that, yo. Like if you get fired for playing Pokemon Go, it's just like, all right, yo. Especially if you are a cop, yo.
Unpopular
All right.
opinion. If we're gonna have policemen misconduct, I'd much rather it be shit like this than the stuff that we normally have to ignore.
I guess.
But
I guess.
Also, if we're going to fire cops for this, maybe we should also fire them for the much worse things too.
That's the argument that I think should be made. But Jesus Christ,
That would have been my appeal. But like, did I shoot a black unarmed teenager though? No. All right. Well, then
Right.
let bygones be bygones. Like
I was trying to catch a Snorlax, you know.
That's right.
They're just like black people laying around all day, not doing nothing. Like, all right. You just made it worse, Officer Keystone. Playing Pokemon Go showed complete disregard for the community, wasted resources, violated public trust, and was unprofessional and embarrassing. That should be on the back of the fucking box of whatever Pokemon game is coming out next.
I used
That
to
sentence
think
just is amazing to me.
I used to think that the characters of Hitchcock and Scully in Brooklyn Nine-Nine were just completely over the top caricatures of police officers, but it's good to know that there are police officers out there that are carrying the mantle high of those two.
I mean, this is some Reno 911 shit.
It really
There really is some Reno 911 shit.
A quick detour to the post office from Cam, who says, obviously losing your job as a cop over fucking Snorlax is unacceptable, but what Pokemon would you risk your job over, and why is it Mewtwo?
Because Mewtwo's the fucking coolest Pokemon that they've ever come up with. Period. Period. I don't want to hear any arguments. Mewtwo's the fucking coolest. He always has been. He has been for the last 25 years. And if you think otherwise, you can come over here and fight me one-on-one. Mewtwo's the best.
Jesus Christ, man.
Amazing.
Yeah. Wow. Goodness gracious.
Post office.
Well, no, we're gonna make money first.
Yeah, we gotta shill. Go to densepixels.com/Amazon for all of your Pokemon needs. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon, you will be helping us out, and you help yourself out. And that's, in this very selfish world that we live in, where those who are sworn to protect and serve choose to protect and serve their own interests by going and chasing after a Snorlax. You can go help us. And I typed in Pokemon after going to densepixels.com/Amazon. And you can buy the Pokemon 25th Anniversary Celebrations Elite Trainer Box for $67.90. I don't know what this is. It's got a silhouette of Pikachu on it, and it doesn't look very big. So
I would imagine it's Pokemon TCG, is it not?
Yeah,
it's well. There you go. It's and it's $70. So treat yourself to some Pokemon garbage, and don't play with it on the job.
Especially if you're a fucking police officer. What the
Jesus Christ.
Oh
man.
my God. I'm surprised that story didn't leak out before the appeal was done in court.
right.
No, they appealed it. Yo.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, because no cop ever thinks they ever do anything wrong.
Apparently not. Jesus Christ, man.
We'll start with Mark in the post office, as you can submit your questions by joining our Discord at densepixels.com/fans. He asked, does it mean did the PlayStation Store release a shit ton of shovelware the week of Christmas? Also, how much of Terrence's top 5 of 2021 will he call trash? This time of year is not the time of year to get good games. If they are releasing any games, they're going to be mostly nonsense around Christmas week. Like, typically Christmas, you want to attack the sales for the good games that came out over the last couple of years, because they're usually deeply discounted at that point. We have not done our top games of last year yet. We're not going to do that this week.
Next week?
Probably. Okay. Probably. I have my list. I am curious to see Terrence's because I don't know how much new stuff he played because Terrence loves to go deep into the back
Yo, I played like
catalogs.
fucking 3 new games last year.
Well, no, I mean he
I don't
buys
even know
shit
if
that's
I'm
on
gonna have
sale.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He buys shit that's on sale. And plus, the problem is that truly my game of the year last year didn't come out last year. So, like my list, I'm going to be looking at 2021 games, but my game of the year last year was Ghost of Tsushima, and I played, and that came out in 2020. So,
I mean, you can just say Iki Island.
nah, I haven't finished it yet, so I can't even go that far. I can't even go that.
No,
far,
you know
so.
what? I think I do have 5 new games.
Yeah, but I was curious to know if you even had 5 because I know you have at least 2, 3.
Okay,
3.
so 5 of them, but like one of them is a port, basically.
Yeah,
one,
right.
one of them is like Nocturne HD remaster because I did play that last year.
Okay, see, I like SMT5, Monster Hunter, and Endwalker are all gonna be on your list. I know.
And
so.
Monster Hunter Stories 2 is actually super good.
There you go. So.
But even though it didn't come out in 2021, I would probably put Paradise Killer on that list. So,
but what order will they be in? You'll have to tune in probably next week to find out.
Yeah.
Film Wander says, "How are you guys feeling about Grid Legends? Do you think Codemasters will put out another quality product, or will EA fuck it up?" So here's the thing with Grid Legends. I've seen the previews for Grid Legends. They are leaning heavily into like scripted story in the game, and that looks lame to me. And I don't think EA has anything to do with that. Grid Legends, I'm sure, was well in development before EA acquired Codemasters. I'm sure the driving will be fine if you like the Grid series, like if you're into that. I really don't know about some of the preview content they put out for it because it looks very like evolution of Ridge Racer, kind of bullshit that they had in that weird Ridge Racer game where that one racer like was walking around with her boobs hanging out constantly in cutscenes and things of that nature that had a storyline. So, I think it'll be fine. How you feel about it though is gonna pretty much hinge on the quality of the story though, and I can't imagine it's gonna be very good.
So Grid is not on my radar, and it never has been. Is it trying to ape something like Drive to Survive in terms of story?
No, this is like scripted drama kind of fucking story. Where I guess they are like kind of going after like, this is like hotly competitive like racing, street racing circuit kind of stuff. They're really dining out on the fact they're using like the same filming technology as they did for The Mandalorian, where they can build these like virtual sets that look indistinguishable, whereas all the actors are just like on a soundstage, basically. So we'll see. Grid is also not a game on my radar. It's an arcade racer, and I tend not to really look at those anymore. So, but look, if reviews are good, I'll probably play it. That's for sure. So, like, we'll wait to see what that looks like when they come out. Johnny continues the story that we talked about last week with Punk, the Street Fighter Pro. Where he said that he got his win back by destroying his opponent 10-2, and afterward he took his opponent's money, made a dinner reservation under his opponent's name, and uploaded him and his friends eating a victory meal on Twitter. I have to ask, any of you have been super petty after winning a bet or a competition? It does not have to be video game based.
First of all, as much as I find Punk incredibly annoying, Johnny is right. He's the perfect like heel villain. You know what I mean? Like he's the MJF of video game, the video game fighting game scene, right? Like because he's good and he knows it, right? But at the same time, like that dude is ugly and his voice is annoying. He's from Philadelphia, apparently.
Wasn't FP Champ like already like the heel fucking dude in the Street Fighter scene, or am I conflating him with somebody else? Like, wasn't he like a heel pro?
I think he was, but and I don't even know if Punk is a heel. It's just that Punk is on my like he's such a poor sport. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That I'm at that age where it's like I'm just in it for the love of the game, right? Like, because I don't have that killer instinct like these people, like most people do, when it comes to shit like this. And he talks a lot of shit, but then he whines when he loses, and that's my thing. You can talk all the shit you want, but like, don't fucking
you got
mind
you
would
got to
be?
eat the loss. You know,
Yeah,
you got
man,
to
you just
take the
gotta eat the
loss.
loss, man.
Yeah.
You gotta eat the
Just-
loss, and you gotta do what he did. Fucking train like Rocky, trying to end the Cold War, and then dominate your opponent.
It's a shame that him and Sonic Fox don't play the same games, because that would be a fun, like,
Yeah,
you
that
know,
would.
a fun rivalry to, you know, heel versus face rivalry to roll on there. So, Daniel asks me, of all the deck builders that I've now played, which is your favorite? I'm assuming he's talking video games, because board games is a whole different conversation. It's still Slay the Spire. Like, Slay the Spire is still, like, the OG is still the best. It's the one that I constantly come back to over and over again. I've sunk in, you know, over 80 hours at this point into the game, and I'm still playing it. That's still the best. I still yet to find one that is been as addictive as Slay the Spire was. All the other ones that I played, like, I play for a little while and then I, you know, jump off of them eventually. Like, Griftlands stayed around the next longest. I put about 30 plus hours into Griftlands because I thought it was very good. But even then, like, went back to STS and haven't looked back so far. So that's still the number one, and I don't see it being dethroned anytime soon, because it's just so good. It's so good. Carl asks, what are your feelings on kids under 14 playing online multiplayer games? Do those feelings shift depending on game genre, shooters versus UGC games, etc.?
14 feels like a really arbitrary age. But I think regardless, I know I've said it on the pod before. If you have a kid and they're playing online video games, fucking pay attention to what they're doing. I don't think it really matters what kind of genre it is, or, you know, anything like that. You know, I feel like, you know, there's just as much like violent content on, you know, cable television as there is on in an M-rated game sometimes. But I think my concern is more like, you know, when your kids are online, you know, what are they being exposed to that you don't want them to be exposed to? Are they being exposed to racist, homophobic, sexist belief systems? Are they being, you know, exposed to, I mean, really anything that you probably don't think is a good idea. The you know, the kind of, I guess, the Gamergate mentality still hasn't really gone away. It's continued to fester, and it's been able to fester because it continues to expose the next generation of gamers and sort of radicalize them in that fashion. And that happens because parents don't pay attention to what their kids are doing, and that can happen just as often in a first person shooter as it can on like fucking Roblox, you know.
Yeah.
So you just got to pay attention. Yeah,
So-
for me, like, you know, it doesn't matter sort of what kind of content it is. And I'm speaking as someone who doesn't have kids and doesn't want kids. I just don't want to deal with the younger generation growing
Somebody
up to be a
else's
bunch
kid.
of shitheads. Like,
Well, so I'll come at this from a couple of different standpoints. So first of all, I'd actually probably rather have a 14-year-old playing an online shooter versus a user-generated content game, because those games are predatory as shit, like Roblox and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and probably don't need your eyeballs. So here's what I would say. Like, we all were in middle school and high school. We all know the things that were said in middle school and high school, and that we said in middle school and high school, and were said to us in middle school and high school. There's nothing that your 14-year-old is going to hear playing Call of Duty or Halo online in chat that he hasn't heard on the schoolyard in some way, shape, or form. There just isn't.
That's
And
true.
again, if you don't agree, just think back to your time in high school. Hasn't changed. It's still very much
no,
the same.
if anything, it's probably worse.
So I don't think that you need to stop them from playing those games. What I do think you should do is have a very honest conversation with them and encourage them to be an upstanding online citizen when playing those games, and to not let hate speech be tolerated, to not let racism be tolerated. Basically have them be the change, I guess, you know, is the old slogan. But like, it, you know, teach them, like, hey, you're going to hear a lot of bullshit. You don't have to allow that. You know, you should be willing to, you know, speak up and say something and say, hey, that's not cool. Like, if you hear one of your friends, like, you know, use a racist slur or a homophobic slur against somebody, like, be like, bro, it's not cool. Like don't
Yep.
do that. And like, if you don't, if they don't listen, if they, get mad at you, then just don't play with them or disconnect or, hop off, stuff like that. And they'll get the picture eventually. Like they'll realize that, look, he's not going to stand for that shit. So we got to be on best behavior. And that's honestly like your 14-year-old can go, do his small part or their small part in helping prevent, as Carrie said, the next generation of Gamergate from really taking blossom. And it's not like they're not going to, save the world by themselves, but it takes everybody kind of rowing together to tamp down on those attitudes. So
The other thing,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt. Just if you got to let them know that if they're ever made to feel uncomfortable too, they can just leave. Like they don't have to keep playing. It's okay to disconnect. As a 30 something, I am uncomfortable when I find children in my online spaces, and I try to shoo them out because I'm not trying to tone myself down for them. But on the flip side of that, if you have a kid who's online, I mean, let them know, like, it's okay to just log off. Like, it's okay to just leave.
I I want I want my kid to have his first experience of being called the N word like his dad in person and not online. Um, so I don't necessarily have a problem with playing multiplayer games. Depending on the game, I would prefer like a fighting game. Um, I don't hate guns, but at the same time, like I don't know what my kid is going to be like, so I got to watch that shit. And I'm going to ease into it because I'm a massive hypocrite, right? Like I will play these games all goddamn day long, but I don't really want him to get into it too early. But playing multiplayer games is fine. Headset time, I don't know about headset time. I don't know about a lot of headset time. You know what I mean? You can play the multiplayer game all you want, but maybe not get on that headset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's because that's the precursor to like Twitter and shit.
mm-hmm.
Not from a technology standpoint, but from a anonymity makes me Superman standpoint. Like and so yeah. I got no problem with them playing the games, but much like myself, I'm just not gonna use the headset. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
There you go. Chris asks, are you guys excited that Shenmue is coming out as an anime? And do you also think Destiny would make a good anime or live action streaming series? Micah, are you excited for the Shenmue anime?
I've seen the trailer for it. It looks good. I don't know if I would go out of my way to watch it, but that's just because I don't go out of my way to watch a lot of anime unless like very very specific people recommend something to me. Like I'm not just gonna take anime recommendations from just anybody, and even then, you know, it should
I've
probably be
recommended
like
shit to
a
you constantly, and you never watch anything. So
exactly. That's my point proven. Um, but and honestly, it's mainly because not that I don't like people's recommendations, but it's because I don't have time to sit down and watch another television show. I just don't like. I need like old school OVAs. I need a movie. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Um, and would Destiny make a good anime or live action streaming series? Yes.
Anime
I
specifically, yes, because
I
you could cover like historic events in the lore, like not necessarily current shit, but like you could do
mm,
like the Battle of Twilight Gap, you could do like the War Against the Fallen, you could do the discovery of the Black Garden. Like there's all sorts of cool Destiny lore shit that you could do, and I think it would work
yeah.
well in an animated style as opposed to live action. Because live action, the problem with doing something like that live action is that you have to have a significant budget behind it, and I don't think Destiny would.
And even if you do, I mean, like,
Yeah.
look at Cowboy Bebop, man. Like, I gave that show, that live action show, I gave it a shot, man. I really
You
did.
shouldn't have, because it wasn't any fucking good.
I really wanted to like it. I really wanted to like it, and I just didn't. And we described it
Because it
on
wasn't
the
good.
Nerd
Because it
Apocalypse.
missed the point.
I mean, you're right on all counts. We described it as the most expensive looking cheap thing that I've ever seen in a long time. And so I think, you can do more.
It wasn't any good.
You can do a lot more with animation, and the the mind will accept a lot of things that you do if it's all in animation, as opposed to just.
It's almost like
Whatever the fuck
animation is a
Cowboy Bebop
completely
was.
legitimate medium for storytelling, and that animated things don't have to be turned into live action in order to be taken seriously. It's almost as if that the original animation is the best version to begin with, and that turning everything into live action is bullshit, and everyone should fucking stop doing it.
Well, not
Maybe
only
that.
that, but like at this point with video games animated series, like you have a proven track record. Like Castlevania kicks
is
ass.
great. Castlevania.
Arcane, like the first episode was great. I heard the rest of the series is great. I might eventually watch the rest of that, even though I don't know anything about League of Legends.
Want any fraction of a cent of my wallet going to Riot. But yes, Castlevania fucking rules.
I mean, to be fair, it already is. Like you're paying for Netflix. They already pay Riot games.
I know. I'm not going to be a willing participant, though.
Yeah, like there's a Resident Evil anime coming out, or animated series coming out, at some point here. Yeah, it's got a proven track record. You got the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, like
that was fun. Like the old Sonic cartoons were all really good.
I just wanted to pop Micah. That's the only reason that I need to throw that out there.
I'm being serious about this. Like, what was it? Sonic Underground was fun. Sonic X was fun. Sonic Boom was actually really entertaining.
What was the one where they were in that gritty future?
That was Sonic Underground, I think.
Yeah.
Underground. Okay.
I think that was my first exposure to like Sonic the Hedgehog as a concept, because that was on television when I was very young.
Christ. God damn.
Because I didn't have a Genesis as a kid, so I would just watch the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon shows, and then I would walk across the street to my neighbors who had a Genesis, and I would play Sonic 2.
So you didn't see the first incarnation of the Sonic cartoon where it was basically like it looked like Ren and Stimpy? Like it was not.
That's throwing disrespect at Ren and Stimpy. Ren and Stimpy had a much more distinct
I watched a lot of Ren and Stimpy. Which as an adult makes me want to question where my father's head was at. I was like, you let me watch Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life? And he was just like, yeah, I thought it was funny. And I knew you wouldn't get those jokes. So whatever.
So I will tell all of you out there, my favorite Sonic content, if you've never seen it before, is from the original Sonic animated series. They used to do some G.I. Joe-esque public like PSA shorts in between the two-part episodes. Yeah. Go look those up on YouTube. They're pretty great. And like my favorite one is about kids. Don't climb into washing machines.
Yeah, man.
Okay, but like, isn't that sort of a thing, though?
You gotta get out of there. Like, all right, yeah.
That's right. Yes, I forget. Like, that's the other best part is that Sonic was voiced by Urkel.
Oh yeah,
in all the shows.
He was voiced by Urkel like the whole ass fucking time, right?
At least for the first couple. Yeah, at least for the first couple.
Oh yeah, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was overseen by Ren and Stimpy director and Kent Butterworth, and features slapstick humor. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Sonic cartoons. I haven't watched them in a long time. I was very young. I was like 4.
Seek out the PSAs. Like there was one that they did which really like veered into like mature like child sex predator territory, which is like wow, man. Like this is a weird subject. Yeah, like this is a weird subject to handle with a light touch for the kids. But all right.
I watched a lot of Sonic X in middle school and high school. I'm not gonna lie.
So, but yeah, I encourage
probably wasn't very good, but
I encourage all of you kids out there to seek out the Sonic PSAs. They are quite humorous. Trey asks, is it safe to say Metal Slug Tactics is the last hurrah for that franchise, as the last 2 ports of the anthology collection were booty butt cheeks, according to him. The thing with Metal Slug is that, first of all, it's an SNK game, which means automatically niche because it came out on consoles that nobody fucking owned in America in the 80s and 90s.
Who had a Neo Geo CD?
The rich kids that Micah hung out with.
My rich kids that Micah knew of in school.
And the other reason why is because, like, the other reason that Metal Slug never really took off in the US is because Contra exists. Like, we already kind of have our Metal Slug, and it's called Contra. I actually think that Tactics could be potentially a rebirth for the Metal Slug franchise, because, like, Valkyria Chronicles is very popular. Fire Emblem has just seen, or not very popular. Valkyria Chronicles is popular. Fire Emblem has just seen
Fire Emblem is very
a
popular.
boom of popularity.
Also, they're getting ready to relaunch the Advance Wars series.
Yeah, that's up
remake.
there too. Obviously, like, there's a long simmering love for Final Fantasy Tactics for people of a certain age that played that in the 90s growing up. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot more room to grow in the tactics genre than there is in the side-scrolling, bullet hell shooter genre, which is a bit antiquated. Is a mean word, but it kind of is antiquated. So unless you approach it with a very specific twist like Cuphead did, then you're gonna have trouble finding footing in that. So I actually think Tactics, you could see the first of many Metal Slug games, depending on how it's received, obviously.
I hope it does well. I mean, Metal Slug is one of those games that, again, it is very niche, but it's a franchise I respect, and I would hate to see it fall to the wayside just because that sort of specific flavor of side-scroller has fallen out of favor.
Anthony says, I mentioned last week it was my very first time playing a Halo game. Are there any other popular games or series that you missed or passed on while they were hot?
No.
Yeah, I genuinely cannot think of one.
I mean, like, that's pretty much my, like, gimmick, right? Like, something popular, like, I'm gonna at least try it, right? Like when Monster Hunter blew up, like I bought it, right? Because I'm like, well, surely I'm going to love this, and I just didn't.
He did not.
But no, I'm gonna try it. There are certain games that I think may have gotten like publicity, but like there were better versions of them out there. You know what I mean? Like I never have played. I've never played The Last of Us Part 2, right?
Oh yeah, look, there's a perfect example for me. I haven't played The Last of Us. I will not be playing The Last of Us. That's it. I still haven't played any of the Uncharted games.
So for me, like, it depends on how you define while they're hot. You know what I mean? Like, does that mean on release, or does that mean within like 6 months to a year after they come out? Like, because like Ghost of Tsushima, I completely passed on when that came out, but I played it 6 months later, and it was amazing. I will tell you. So for me, I can't think of any specific games, but I'm sure there were a lot of series or a lot of like landmark games that came out on the PlayStation 2 that I did not play at the time, because back when I had a PS2, I was a trash gamer, because pretty much all I played were sports games and wrestling games, and that was about it for like a 4-year span.
Oh boy.
With the occasional Metal Gear thrown in here or there.
Yeah, I still haven't played a Metal Gear game to completion.
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Halo is a
huge franchise. Yeah,
global
massive
franchise.
Benchmark
I mean?
global franchise. Yeah, like
Metal Gear is a
benchmark
incredibly
global
popular franchise.
Yeah, love the story. I haven't played any of those games, and I probably won't. Uncharted, incredible franchise. Haven't played any of those games.
Have you played a Tomb Raider game? You don't seem like the type that would play a Tomb Raider
No,
game.
like I played like one of the old ones, I guess when I was in high school, but like I have since they rebooted the series, I haven't played any of those. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I know what I like. I mean, honestly, it took me until World came out to start playing Monster Hunter, and
Well,
even then, World had been out for a hot fucking minute before I started playing it, and now I have a Monster Hunter tattoo. So
there you go.
eh.
I know mine. Anything Miyazaki, I haven't really fucked with until next
Oh
month.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never really messed with any of the Miyazaki games. I will next month. I will remedy that. But even in anticipation of wanting to check out Elden Ring, like I haven't gone back and played any like the Souls games or anything like that.
So I have a list of from Wikipedia of best-selling video game franchises.
Okay,
Okay.
Mario,
of
yes.
course.
Tetris, yes. Call of Duty, yes.
No,
Pokemon.
No,
Oh,
well,
well,
yeah,
you've never
Carrie,
played a Call
Carrie
of
admits
Duty?
Call of Duty. So
I have not
Pokemon,
played Call of Duty.
I was there for a little bit of Pokemon Zeitgeist, briefly.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
This one I would have said until Ted Lasso came out. FIFA.
I don't know that you could consider FIFA like
Like
hot.
sports is
Yeah,
strange just because that's
it's
an every
nebulous.
year
It's
sort
All
of
right.
nebulous.
Well,
thing.
here's
Yeah.
here's one. Minecraft. I've never played Minecraft.
No, I have not played Minecraft at all ever, and I
I have
won't.
played Minecraft exactly once, and I did it to play it enough to build something that I could take a screenshot of to get a free Xbox controller. That's my extent of play with Minecraft.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Wii, the Lego franchise, the Sims franchise, Final Fantasy,
Yeah,
Mario
never played
Kart,
Sims.
Assassin's Creed.
You never played The Sims?
Never played The
I've played
Sims.
The Sims.
Wow.
Assassin's Creed, Need for Speed, Sonic the Hedgehog, Madden, The Legend of Zelda, Resident Evil, Star
I
Wars,
haven't really played
anything.
any of your Resident Evil games either because I'm a little baby back bitch and I don't like
Um,
scary games.
NBA 2K, Wii Sports, Pro Evolution Soccer, and Minecraft. And these are franchises that sold at least 1 million copies.
Wow.
They go on and on, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are the big ones.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
no, I've played a lot of these because that's my gimmick, man.
Oh, here's one. Mega Man. I love
Oh.
Mega Man's music. I'm fucking terrible at those games, man. Like side-scrolling action platformers, I just suck at. I have historically
Mhm.
sucked at them. I'm not good at Mega Man. I'm not good at any of the Mega Mans. I've tried many of them. I'm not fucking good at them. Metroid is a great example of a game, particularly when Dread came out. Like I was like, cool. I'm really happy for Metroid fans. Super fucking stoked for y'all. Enjoy it because I will.
Have you played any like Metroidvania games though? Because I'd argue that if you played any games in that genre, that you've experienced like that.
Well, so like
Thing.
I've played bits and pieces. Like I tried playing Symphony of the Night, and I'm like, I fucking suck at this. Again, it's just the exploration action platformer. Not for me. I'm not good at those. I don't like doing things that I'm bad at over and over and over again because I just get mad and frustrated. And I play video games to have a good time. So like, why would I waste my time on something that I know I'm not any good at when I can enjoy the stuff from Mega Man that I like, which is the music, without having to fucking play the game. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at on those.
I told you it's weird to me how my tastes have shifted and changed over time. Like as I'm getting older, like me and Terrence are having inverse like curves in our gaming desires right now. Like he's all about like having a good time, experiencing a good story, and for me, I'm just like, story's not that important. Like I want to get my ass handed to me in games. Like, it's all about the gameplay now, baby. Like I don't care as long as the loop is addictive. That's all I care
well,
about.
I mean, I'm in the Monster Hunter loop these days. I'm in the Final Fantasy loop. The Final Fantasy also had really good story, FF14. But in an RPG, you know, I expect the story to be good and I expect the characters to be relatable and whatnot.
Yeah, story used to be able to pull me through a game that I was kind of meh on otherwise. can't anymore. Like I dipped off the Outriders because I'm just like, all right, I get what this is, and the story is not great. And anyway, but I don't even care to see it to completion. I'm just here until I get tired of playing the game, and then once I do that, then I'm good to go. So there you go. Finally, Rogue Creative asks, what gamer difficulty tropes do you all feel to be totally overblown? Examples they give are the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time is too difficult, Dark Souls is impossible, you can't beat Contra without the Konami codes, Cynthia's Pokemon team can't be beat, etc., etc., etc.
So I don't think anyone says that the Water Temple is too difficult. I think everyone just says that the original version, the N64 version, is a pain in the ass because in order to equip and unequip the iron boots, you have to go into the start menu to do it. And then they remedied that in the 3DS remake of Ocarina because they allowed you to map the boots to like a button. So I don't like Water Temple was never hard. Mm-hmm. It was just a tedious pain in the ass. I don't know about any other tropes that are overblown. I do think Cynthia's Pokemon team is one of the hardest to actually have to face off against in the entire franchise. It's really well-rounded. She's got a great team. It's tough to go up against. Also, I don't play Dark Souls because it is impossible. And I don't want to get good. I don't want to get good.
There's a lot of roguish action games that I was scared off of because people told me how fucking hard they were, that I found that like they're still difficult, but they're not like soul crushingly hard. Like Dead Cells is a great one where, you know, I was warned by Micah and Terrence like, oh, this game's hard, it's difficult. And I'm like, yeah, like you're gonna die a lot when you first start playing, but once you learn the levels, once you learn the enemy patterns and behaviors, like it's fine. Like now in Dead Cells, like I still haven't beaten it, but I can get to like the 5th or 6th area on every run without fail at this point, unless I get completely shit on with RNG, with the items that I get. So like I find the difficulty of some, especially like side-scrolling action games, to be a bit overblown by folks. Not to say that it's a cakewalk, but it's not like souls-crushingly, impossible, as a lot of people think that they are sometimes.
Yeah, I think Terrence would probably tell you that Cuphead, is not as difficult as people make it out to be. Mm-hmm. But Terrence is also a fan of bullet hell games, and that's what that is. But I
play Toho, but I don't want to play Cuphead, which seems really stupid to say out loud.
Yeah, I think
Cuphead is easier than Toho.
Yeah, I think you could get through Cuphead if you. I think you'd be fine. I generally can't answer this question because I don't really play games that are too difficult, and I don't. And if I do like up the difficulty on something, like it's not. I find a game to be difficult when I physically can't do something. You know what I mean? Like not if the enemies take more, hits and deal more damage. Like that's not like difficulty. That's not difficulty. That's get good. But like pretzel motions, like real old school pretzel motions where you're moving your thumb around like a pretzel. I like that shit is fucking hard to me.
Well, and that's the other thing too is it matters with lived experience. Like it's going to vary from person to person. I mean, Hades is a great example. I beat Hades. I want to say, God, what run? Like on my 20th or 21st run when I first played the game, beat the game entirely. And my wife, God bless her, like doesn't really play action games like that, and she's done like 30 runs, and she's beaten like the first boss once, and she was very proud of that. Which credit to her. But I'm sure for her, like Hades is massively difficult. For me, I'm like, oh, it's hard, but it's not like like I can start whipping the shit out of this game once I get good. So yeah, it's all gonna vary. I mean, there are people out there. I mean, like the fucking asshole that beat Bloodborne with a Guitar Hero guitar. Like I'm sure, like I'm sure the difficulty in those games are trivial. Like, yeah.
Oh, yo, let me beat Dark Souls 3 with a fucking DDR pad. Like,
yeah. So, but yeah, so it's gonna vary from person to person. I think I'd be curious to know your guys's you the listeners, your tropes that you think are overblown. in terms of gaming. And you can do that by, again, joining our Discord at densepixels.com/fans. Go in there. We have a nice episode discussion channel that you can posit your thoughts on everything we talked about today. Make sure you subscribe to Dense Pixels and all the other TNP Studios shows in your podcatching application of choice. Go to youtube.com/densepixels. Subscribe to us there as well. And then on Twitch, a couple channels you should follow. First of all, the main Dense Pixels channel, which is just simply twitch.tv/densepixels. You can find me at Dense Pixels Brad. You can find Carrie at Suffix Carrie, and you can find Terrence at Apparition 410. And you should follow us all on twitch.tv, and it'll be a good time. And that's it. That's all we have for you this week. So thank you guys very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
Thanks.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.